Excuse me! Today, we're coming to you with the Phantom Menace review, reaction thing, retrospective look, or something like that.
How would?
Oh, oops, wrong one. Maybe it's... No, it is this one. It is the right one.
Yo.
Yeah, so we've just watched the Phantom Menace for the 58,000th time,
Yeah,
I think.
in my lifetime, yeah.
But never really watched it.
As a grown-up. Well, no, I have.
But not reviewing, analysing, looking over it that much. Yeah. So most of the time I've watched Star Wars in my life has just been to...
Have a laugh or enjoyment.
Yeah, mostly enjoyment, but I actually hadn't watched the prequels in a while. We're going to get to the rest of them. We've just started with Phantom here.
Leading up to
Rise of Skywalker, which, I mean, we'll get our thoughts more on that a bit down the road, I feel. Maybe we can talk about it a bit here now as well. But enough with the intros. Let's get to Phantom Menace. Overall thoughts and opinions. We'll go through a bit of the plot as well and talk about what we loved and hated along the way. But straight up, what'd you think? I mean, not that you've just seen it for the first time, but...
Yeah, I mean, I love this movie.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, it's Star Wars. I love all Star Wars movies. I don't love all Star Wars
You actually do love this movie.
Yeah, yeah. This
We're-
movie is like my childhood.
We were just shitting on it a lot when we were watching it, so I figured that you didn't really like it that much.
No, I do. I like all Star Wars movies.
I guess so. There is something to like about every Star Wars movie, but for me, this doesn't really feel like a Star Wars movie.
You were saying this at the start of the movie.
As soon as the movie starts, the opening crawl, it opens with trade disputes or some shit. Trade route disputation, and I'm like, imagine seeing this for the first time in 99.
After what, like 15
or so years since Return of the Jedi, and you're going to see a Star Wars movie about political bullshit.
Oh yeah, trade disputes, is it?
Trade disputes, yeah, that's interesting. That's fucking interesting, man.
You go from seeing, like, Darth Vader dying.
And a Death Star explosion.
Yeah, and dancing with Ewoks to... Oh, trade disputes, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not based around the Chinese.
What is that race?
Chinese.
Yeah, so the Trade Federation are all, I mean, maybe Asians.
It's you can't tell me it's not based off.
Yeah, maybe.
This isn't us being racist, by the way. This is Lucasfilms.
I think it is a shared opinion as well that some people think that there's a bit of racial shit going on, especially with the Gungans as well. Maybe
Jamaicans.
Never been confirmed, but you can look into that a bit.
And the Republic being the good old USA.
Yeah, so it starts off with the Jedi flying in to the circular trade ship, the Trade Federation ship, where they're going to negotiate about what are they even negotiating about?
Trade deal, because there's trade disputes.
A trade deal because there's trade disputes, but shit goes wrong, and they fight battle droids.
Yeah,
and the Trade Federation are invading Naboo. Not giving a fuck because they want the Queen to sign a treaty to let it be legal or something like that.
They don't really delve too much into
all that.
What it is. They kind of just say we want.
That is the main storyline though, and
no, it's not.
No.
It's obviously the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah, which is just not even developed at all in this movie. But we'll get to that a bit later. So yeah, the main storyline, it's just so hard to be interested, I reckon. Like, every time they start talking about trade shit and politics, my brain pretty much just switches off and I'm just on my phone.
Anytime it wasn't lightsabers or pod racing or the sexual tension between Anakin and Padme and Palpatine and Padme.
Yeah, there's a bit of shit going on down there. But the Jedi end up on Naboo. They've escaped the Federation ship after being ambushed, kind of, by the the crazy rich Asians.
Yeah.
And we are introduced to the greatest character and Sith Lord in Star Wars history, Jar Jar Binks.
Michael Jackson.
It's gonna be. Was
it
potentially
been.
gonna
Would have been
be.
awesome if it was.
I feel bad for the guy. I mean...
Who, the black guy or Michael Jackson?
Both of them. But we'll talk about Jar Jar Binks. So, I can only imagine being offered to be in a Star Wars movie, and he is one of the central characters of the movie. You'd be so hyped. Like, I've seen a few interviews with him talking about how he had so many ideas for what he was going to do, and was really, like, so excited to be in it.
Yeah.
And
like, we went and watched the original trailer just before, and he features in it quite prominently.
Yeah, it does seem like George Lucas or 20th Century Fox were really intent on making Jar Jar Binks a thing purely for kids' entertainment.
Literally as Vince McMahon and, like, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
In the big dog segment.
Pushing some shit. And, yeah, Jar Jar Binks, there's so much shitty comedy. He's literally just the biggest retard you've ever seen. And it just takes away from every scene pretty much, because you can't have any serious scene without him disrupting it, causing some chaos.
Yeah.
And I've got to admit, I was laughing at it, but just because it's so terrible that it's funny.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe it kind of worked in a bit, but he is just the most annoying character. I just look at you and be like, bro, what is happening right now? This is just ridiculous.
Jimmy! Kid, watch out for the boom! Fuck! Hold on!
Help! 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 Dad needs his help!
Get under him, man! Let him get forward, kid!
Dad!
But, I mean, what's done is done, and Jar Jar Binks
He might make a comeback.
might appear in Rise of Skywalker. He has been Palpatine all along.
I'd love that.
I don't even care about Rise of Skywalker at this point. But, Phantom Menace. So, yeah, the CGI in this movie,
Oh.
not that great. Doesn't hold up that well. I'd say it's
It
about
does,
it's about 20% good.
Jar Jar Binks, the CGI for Jar Jar Binks, literally looks so undeveloped.
We rewatched this on Disney Plus, and maybe they've remastered it. I don't know, whatever it is. Jar Jar Binks he looked like a PlayStation 2 graphic every time he was on screen. So that was not good at all. And most of the CGI with the ships and everything I thought was really good. It's mostly just characters that just look terrible. And a lot of green screen.
Yeah.
Where you can easily tell that it is green screen.
Yeah,
Which
like Qui-Gon's head not even being fucking fit in.
Doesn't hold up
There's
that
always
well.
a bigger fish, and that bigger fish being Qui-Gon's massive head.
Anakin Skywalker is introduced about halfway through the movie, and we've just watched the trailer because we were like, oh, we want to see at this time what people were so hyped up for, and it really made this movie seem like it was going to be what you'd think it would be, being a prequel, the origin of Anakin, him leading up to his training, becoming a Jedi and doing all that shit, but he's really just an afterthought kind of in this.
Yeah.
No real place, no real prominence.
He's my second favourite Skywalker in this movie.
After Shmee.
Shmee.
Milf Shmee.
Yeah. The Swede.
The sweetie. Sweetie. But, yeah, Anakin is just not, like, his storyline is just not even the main thing, really.
Yeah.
It is for about 10 minutes of him, they're trying to...
At the end.
But they're trying to... They find... Okay, so they've got midichlorians in this movie because I guess
You wouldn't know, though. They don't really mention it in the movie too much.
What?
The midichlorians.
But it's like they just needed some way to explain how strong he was with the Force, so they're like, oh, we'll just introduce midichlorians so we can have a certain count.
Yeah, anytime someone, like, met Anakin for the first time, was, wow, the midichlorian count's real high.
Midichlorians, yeah. And they always have to... Every new thing because they bring in a bit of backstory to the Jedis, and they always just have to explain every single thing, like, oh, Anakin's too old to do the training and everything.
When he's just not, though.
And it's all just so fucking dumb. Like, it just feels like an unnecessary conflict put in place to just prolong the movie, I guess,
pretty
kind
much.
of. But yeah, the Anakin, they've crash landed kind of on Tatooine because they're out of parts, out of fuel or something, and they need to, get them, but they don't have credits. So they find Anakin, he's got the Force or whatever, so he can pod race. And Jake Lloyd, the young actor, the performance...
It was on day release for this video.
His performance is unbearable, but I don't think any other actor could have done it justice. Because the performance itself is kind of your general kid performance, but the dialogue along with it just
is awful.
It's so terrible. It's so cringy. And there's a relationship built between him and Padme, even though
She's like 20.
And
He's like
it's not like, oh,
4
they're
years
friends. Like, it's definitely leading up towards that, you can tell. And, mate, it's just weird. It's just a bit weird. But anyway, Anakin has to go in his pod race to win the parts for the Jedi to get off the planet, and he'll eventually go with them. But the pod race...
also known as the most painful Lego Star Wars mission of all time.
Yeah, but I love it.
Obviously, it's my favourite
A lot of the time
mission.
watching this, we were just comparing it to Lego.
Yeah, that's kind of how I remembered this movie.
Yeah,
was,
me too.
let's compare this to Lego Star Wars.
But I find the pod racing quite enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
It's pretty entertaining.
Only because I really compared it to...
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, this is like in the Lego game.
Yeah.
I still think it's entertaining just as a scene on its own, although it's kind of just repetitive, just like, zooming on the face and then them flying from one side of the screen to the other.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's pretty fun, I guess. And Anakin wins, so that's good. The story's able to take place.
Yeah, thank God he wins.
He gets brought back to Coruscant with the Jedi, and they won't train him because apparently he's too old.
Well, before that, they get attacked by Darth Maul.
Oh, that's right. Darth Maul's in this movie. There. Darth Maul is the most...
He could have been the coolest.
Like, if you put the Clone Wars aside, because that is canon, and we do treat it as such, but in this movie, he is just... He's...
Trash.
There's just nothing to him, really. I mean, he looks awesome, and he's got sick lightsaber skills, as we'll talk about in a bit towards the end. But he's basically after Anakin and everything. And, yeah,
I just wish he didn't talk.
There's too many storylines going on, I think.
Yeah.
Like, there's the trade thing, there's the pod racing, they're going to get Anakin off as a slave, there's Darth Maul. There's just way too much going on, and none of it's really that compelling to watch.
Yeah.
I've just gotten a wee notification there. And it's hard to be invested as well, because we've said this, but there's no main character really. Well, there is, but Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson, I guess is the main character. He is the main Jedi who most of the story follows him around. But there's no backstory to him. He's just not really compelling at all. He's kind of just like there to move the plot along, I guess, and there's nothing. This movie's all about just moving the plot with no real shit given about characters.
This movie just isn't even really needed.
No. Well, that's what we were talking about after it's over, because at the end, we can just talk about whatever we want. So at the end, Darth Maul fights... I mean, everyone's seen Phantom Menace.
I don't know.
After Darth Maul fights them, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn dies. Obi-Wan doesn't kill him, but kind of does. And then Anakin's set up to be trained. So... Look, what even was the point in this movie? Like, the main thing is, trade disputes. Yeah, no one gives a fuck. That has nothing to do with anything else Star Wars. And then, just why? Why was this George Lucas's idea for a movie?
Because, who knows?
He was interested in politics, I guess.
The money. The cash.
Cash grab.
Money.
I don't know.
Cash.
But yeah... You could have easily started with Attack of the Clones just with Anakin already in Jedi training, and it would have been fine. You don't need...
Yeah.
Because all this movie really does is say, Anakin came from a slave planet and whatever. But he didn't even need to... That wasn't even necessary, really. The only reason it comes back is in Attack of the Clones, which we'll talk about, where, like, his mother's death.
The saddest death in the entire franchise.
That kind of just makes him rage.
Killed them all.
We'll get to that. But, yeah, Phantom Menace.
That was your notification, by the way. It was.
What is it?
It was
is it
your
relevant at all?
No, not at all.
Nah, not relevant.
No, I'll like it for you if you want.
Yeah, go on. What do you want to talk about, really, with Phantom Menace?
It's just weird. It's a weird one, because... Like we said, it isn't really needed in the story, but it's fun to watch.
I guess, like, I'd say overall 10 minutes of it are probably fun to watch, and the rest is just boring.
I mean, if you got rid of this movie, you wouldn't be missing out on much, because Qui-Gon isn't ever really mentioned again. Anakin, you could start his training Episode 2, Obi-Wan could easily... I mean, he's pretty much a Jedi Master anyway in the first one. Like, it literally is just like the first one talking about, like, Palpatine and stuff like that.
But it doesn't really set it up at all.
No.
It's just there.
But it's kind of, yeah.
It just does nothing for the rest of the movies and is unnecessary. So, what did you like about the movie, though? Because there are some things.
The CG.
When it started, I was thinking, visual effects are actually, they've held up pretty well. But then as it just moved along, it kind of just got worse and worse throughout the movie. So, visual effects, no.
I'd rather talk about what I didn't enjoy, because it's probably a longer list. An easier list.
And then, So, what didn't you enjoy?
Jar Jar.
Jar Jar Binks.
Anakin.
Well, we'll talk about each point.
Oh, okay.
Jar Jar Binks. There's just so much of him, eh? There's so much of him. And
it was just so distracting, the CG for him in this movie.
Yeah, like...
I don't remember it ever being that bad.
Neither. Maybe it's just as it's gone on, it just looks so bad over time.
But it wasn't like the other Gundams weren't that bad.
They were still pretty shit. But Jar Jar Binks was really PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Which came out, a PlayStation 2 did come out after this movie. But, I mean, it's a whole different thing. The whole movie, I was like, why are they bringing Jar Jar Binks along? Like... And
it's literally only so they can get the army at the end.
I'm like, so I guess when they're in the underwater bit, they're like, we'll bring Jar Jar along with us so he can navigate through the water and get us back to Naboo or whatever. So that's understandable, but they just bring him along to every single place. So he's just tagged along with them to Tatooine, fine, but he goes with them while they're looking for all these parts. He's just always there.
Yeah, and he's not even needed. I think he wouldn't be as hated either if we were kind of given a break from him in the first movie.
Because it's just every scene he's just always doing something stupid, and then when they go back to Naboo at the end, he's appointed general because fuck it.
Yeah. Literally like when Paige got promoted to like general manager of SmackDown.
I just laughed. It's like Jar Jar, they all know he's such a fucking dumb fuck. And then he's just, no.
They should have killed him off.
Give him authority. But he is a Sith Lord, so they can't kill him off in the first movie.
They should have actually used that cut version.
Come on! Jar Jar, move!
Basically someone re-edited a clip of Jar Jar dying, and it's probably the most satisfying clip of all time.
Because after that, Jar Jar Binks was in the movie. He's there for comic relief, but it's just
and he literally gets to lift the fucking trophy at the end. Like, he actually did something that... he was sitting right next to bloody...
Yeah.
The guy when he lifted up
it's fucking ridiculous how he's just always there in every scene. He's just there. Why is he there? He's just a random Gungan who's literally got brain damage. The same with Anakin though as well. It's like,
I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
It's like, okay,
his dialogue is the worst.
Yeah. So he is apparently this prospect chosen one. So they brought him back to Coruscant or whatever. But when they go back to Naboo for the big fight at the end, there's no reason to bring him along whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're going to make the argument that it's for his Jedi training, but then...
But then he isn't even a Jedi at that point. Like,
he does nothing. There's nothing for him to really do.
Except save the universe.
He does end up doing it, but from the Jedi's point of view, why have they brought him along? They brought a kid along to some battle, and it just makes no sense at all. And speaking of the battles at the end, another thing I didn't like, there's about 50 million intersecting storylines, which I guess we kind of talked about overall through the whole movie, but at the end it's a bit of a clusterfuck. Yeah.
There's no real kind of joint. I mean, there kind of is, because Anakin eventually blows up the droid station to stop all the droids from working. But apart from that, it doesn't really feel like...
But it's just so much happening at the same time. It's like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are fighting Darth Maul, Anakin's blowing up the Trade Federation, Padme is getting the Gunray, whatever his name is, to sign a new treaty, And
then Jar Jar saving the universe
Gungans.
by hanging onto the trailer and
But
letting
that
out the
whole
big blue
thing
balls.
is just I was cracking up, to be fair.
Yeah,
just
because it's a
so
joke.
stupid. It's like the room.
Such a joke.
If Tommy Wiseau played Jar Jar Binks, I wouldn't have been surprised. Because it just is that type of thing, really.
Maybe he did. Maybe we just didn't even know.
Maybe George Lucas and Tommy Wiseau worked on this together.
That wouldn't surprise me.
What a story, Mark.
Yeah, you can say that again.
I'm so happy I have you as my best friend, and I love Lisa so much.
Do you think of anything else you didn't like?
I mean, no, just Anakin. Anakin was honestly my least favourite thing in the movie.
I think just the characters in general, there's just nothing to them.
Yeah, Qui-Gon is boring as fuck.
And then Obi-Wan is just in the background the whole movie.
Ewan
with
McGregor
nothing
in this
it.
movie is 28 and looks about 12.
Yeah. Like,
And Padme's a paedophile.
and she's got a weird British accent.
I am Queen Amidala. This is my decoy, my protection, my loyal bodyguard.
Like Keira Knightley, and they switch for no reason.
Yeah, that-
Because they're always standing next to each other.
Yeah.
So that even if someone did try to assassinate the Queen, the actual Queen would die anyway.
She is a decoy to protect herself, but she's always with the Queen, so you'd think that if something happens, she'd bite the dust as well. And it seemed like that whole thing's in there just to have a shitty twist where it's like, oh, I'm the Queen. I've been
Yeah,
the
which
Queen
made
all the
no
time.
sense. Because,
It's
like,
okay.
they still end up switching between...
Like, could
even
she,
though people
could she
know.
not have just been the Queen the whole time?
No, because then they probably couldn't develop the love relationship between.
I mean, they could have. They didn't.
No, they
They
couldn't.
didn't even develop it really in this.
God forbid a royal,
Oh.
like an underage.
Oh, that's actually relevant. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, Obi-Wan and Anakin, just nothing.
Yeah, literally say like
Nothing
two
really.
words to each other.
Because that should be,
That is like the entire basis of the next like 4 movies.
yeah. But like that should be what the whole prequels are about, like Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship building and everything like that. They talk about once in this whole movie. There's like one line.
Yeah, when Obi-Wan's looking like a fucking druid.
What will happen to me now?
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay. So, it's just... Because it sets it up like Qui-Gon's going to train Anakin, which we know is not going to happen.
But did we know that going into the movie? Did we know Qui-Gon was going to die?
No. I mean, you probably assumed it since he's not in any other movie later on, but...
Yeah, but Obi-Wan was only in the first one.
But what I'm saying is, like, they set it up almost like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's relationship is what... No, what am I saying? There's too many people. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon and Anakin's relationship is what Obi-Wan and Anakin should have been.
Yeah.
They should have just had Obi-Wan and not have Qui-Gon. I don't know. I don't really know. What's done is done. And, yeah. Positives, though.
The scores.
The music score. Yeah, the party at the end. John Williams, yeah, God. Yeah, the music score for this is fucking phenomenal.
Jill.
The Jewel of the Fates is so good.
So orgasmic. To
When
be
it-
fair, that entire, like... If it had just stayed on Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, instead of switching between all those different scenes...
Such a beautiful scene.
Yeah, really set up real well.
And why didn't Obi-Wan use his force sprint to run and
What?
catch
There
up?
is no full sprint. What are you on about?
We were complaining about this,
What-
like...
no, there's no such thing as full sprint.
There is for one scene. Throughout every Star Wars
Literally, like, the first...
scene of the movie.
yeah, like, the first thing of them being a Jedi is, like... like, the force sprint, and then it's just never shown in any Star Wars ever again.
We'll add in the force sprint. And then at the end, they just never... What? There's so many...
The original
opportun-
Naruto run.
There's so many opportunities that they could have used this, and it's just frustrating.
And the full damage.
Oh,
Falls from, like, 14 stories. Doesn't even, like... no broken bones or
it's
anything.
funny. When we watch Attack of the Clones, there's something along those lines that we'll bring up that is funny as well. But yeah, any other positives really? Darth Maul is awesome, even though there's no real build up to the confrontation between them at the end.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real... He's just a bad guy.
Do you think... We were kind of talking about this, but if, like, the Clone Wars and stuff hadn't brought him back, he would be as cool of a character? Like, if this was the last time we ever spoke about him.
Well, he was brought back because everyone thought he was an awesome character.
Yeah, that's true.
But, I kind of get what you're meaning, like, for what he really did in this movie,
Was in, like...
The lightsaber battle at the end of this movie is my favourite out of all of Star Wars.
Well, Rogue One, if we're counting that. Well, that's not really a battle, but...
That's cool.
Featuring a lightsaber.
Lightsaber battles where it's people fighting with lightsabers, this, I think, is the best one still.
Well... No, maybe Obi-Wan versus Anakin.
I don't know. I think just this one, just with the music.
The worst
and
co-op
everything.
level for Lego Star Wars.
Like, he was so cool in this movie, but the way he goes out like such a bitch. Like,
yeah, cut in half and then worse CG.
But then Star Wars has a habit of doing this with every character. They always have a sick character and they just die in the most underwhelming way.
What, Phasma?
Phasma, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It started... No, it didn't start here. It was a prequel. Yeah,
Maul, technically it did start
Darth
here,
Maul is, like, sick, and then he just looks like a complete dummy when he dies. He's just standing
because
there.
Obi-Wan literally keeps looking over at the lightsaber.
And Darth Maul's forced him down this hole, and then it's like, yeah...
It just stands there, doesn't force him down again.
What are you waiting for? Just force him... And then when he jumps up with the lightsaber, he's just, like, watching him fly over. It's like, oh, it's not handled well.
It's up! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power!
Don't try it!
If there's anything men should be good at, it's forcing things into holes. And he just doesn't do that good at all.
Who's good at forcing things into holes?
Oh, most men, because they're all pieces of shit.
Anything else you want to talk about, really?
No, I'm just excited to go watch Attack of the Clones now.
Yeah, my favourite relationship in a movie.
Yeah, sexy times.
When you think about it, like, from this movie, I mean, we'll talk about it, but it's weird. Like, it is weird.
Star Wars as a whole, is just weird. Greatest Star Wars movie of all time.
No.
Until the next one.
I don't know. I can't remember which is worse out of this Attack of the Clones, but we're going to watch it, so, yeah, Phantom. Just irrelevant, so, yeah. Like, Phantom Menace is irrelevant, I think, is the overall thing that we've learned from this.
Yeah.
No need for it whatsoever, apart from a lightsaber battle at the end that I liked to watch, and the score.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which they're going to reuse in Rise of Skywalker, so fuck my life.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later.
But yeah, that's Phantom Menace from us.
I've been Brian Barberina.
I've been Lewin Tangiwana.
Yeah, good one.
I couldn't think of shit.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah,
Peace.